Okay, Junior, this is actually a very nice little question, and I'm going to use it to explain something that's really important. Okay, if we look here, we have got, first thing you ever do when you get a question is the label. So, this is a chromosome. And it's a chromosome that's been replicated, because this thing here is what we call a sister chromatid. Okay, so your sister chromatid there, and this is also a sister chromatid. So your two sister chromatids join together by this structure here, and that structure is called a centromere. And, well, it's in the center. I mean, that's where centro comes from. Mere means a section, a piece. So centromere, there we have our centromere. If we look at A, we know that that's a chromosome, and it's one that's been replicated, because this is what a chromosome normally looks like. Okay? So when it's replicated, it looks like this, because we have duplicated it. Why? Because it's about to undergo meiosis. Now, if we look at C, C represents this little thing here, and this band represents one gene. Okay? And what is a gene? It's a piece of DNA. And that piece of DNA is what is also called a gene. So, in fact, C and B are both a gene. All right. So, now, if we look at, and this is what I wanted to do with you, is we have homologous chromosomes. Okay? This is exactly what we're looking at here in our diagram. And we'll have another one of these. So, homologous chromosomes are the same length, okay? They have a centromere in the same position, all right? And they have, now remember, these two will be identical. And this one is going to have a little, the gene here. So if this gene is for, I don't know, eye color, what on earth, eye color, and then this one here will be for eye color too. Now, this will be, let's say, the maternal chromosome, and this one here is the paternal chromosome. Why? Because you are made up of one chromosome from your mom, so one set will come from your mother, and one set will come from your father. And we are just looking at one chromosome in the set. So maternal, paternal. But if we take these two, this is your homologous chromosome. Now, I actually have a hissy fit when people say homologous chromosome pairs. Well, the fact that it's a homologous chromosome means that they are pairs. Homologous means that they are bivalent. They are chromosomes, one paternal, one maternal, for the same characteristics or traits in an individual. So, saying homologous chromosomes or chromosome pair, homologous means pair. They're the same. So, homologous chromosomes, and you'll have the same gene here and the same gene here. When we have crossing over during prophase 1, okay, the two homologous chromosomes line up next to each other and they touch. And where they touch, that's called the chiasma. And what do? They swap genetic material, which means that they are now different from what they were to start off with. And the fact that they are different is what causes variation during prophase 1 and crossing over. That's why crossing over is so incredibly important. It allows for variation. All right, so let's look at our question. All right, what have we got here? We have our chromosome, we have the centromere, which holds the two chromatids together. They're sister chromatids because they belong to the same chromosome. So if we look here, that is a sister chromatid, and that is a sister chromatid, and this is a sister chromatid, and that is a sister chromatid. But these two are non-sister chromatids. And why non-sister? Because they belong to different chromosomes. All right, now, let me get my blue back, and we say, right, identify D and E, we already did. Sister chromatid is D, and E is the centromere, which holds the two together. How many pairs of chromosomes are found in a normal human somatic cell? A somatic cell is a body cell. There are 23 pairs. Okay? In females, there are 23 pairs, okay, of homologous chromosomes, and in males, there are 22 pairs of homologous chromosomes and an X and a Y chromosome. All right, because your Y chromosome is not homologous, it does not make a homologous pair with the X chromosome, believe it or not. That's where your whole sex-linked issue comes in. All right, so when diseases are carried over or genetic diseases or disorders, it's on that little Y chromosome that doesn't have an allele. All right, so going back here, if we talk about eye color, let's do green. If we look at eye color, this little gene here forms one allele, and this little one here will be the other allele. So this makes up your two alleles for every single trait that you find in an organism. All right, now, give only the letters of the part that attaches the spindle fibers during cell division. It's going to be here at the center. So it is the centromere, and they only want the letter. So if you go and you write centromere, you're not going to get that mark. You must write E. So please, people, read your questions properly. Then it says represents a gene. Ha! What represents a gene? C represents a gene, and so does B. So B and C. Okay, so it was a bit of a trick one there, but they, as far as I recall, they accepted both in the exam, B or C, or if you wrote both, cool, they marked the first one. Alrighty. Then it says, here, let's get a different color. It says, name 2 organelles in an animal cell where DNA is found. Well, that one's easy. You've got your DNA, your nuclear, or your nucleus, your nuclear DNA, and your mitochondria. Okay, that's your, so your mitochondria, let's do it this way. Your nuclear DNA will be your normal DNA that we write like that, and your mitochondrial DNA will be your MT with lowercase DNA. So that's what's found in the mitochondria. And then your third kind of DNA that you get is found not in an animal cell, but in a plant cell. It is your DNA that's found in the chloroplast. So it's the chloroplast DNA. Okay, just as a snippet there. Right, the natural shape of a DNA molecule, it's a double helix. Okay, the process whereby DNA makes an identical copy of itself, we spoke about it just now because I said to you this chromatid and that sister chromatid is, the DNA has been duplicated, we say it is replication. Okay.